Hi guys, Piotr here, this is LiteFinance Global YouTube channel, and it's my pleasure to be with you again. Today we are going to discuss the scalping strategy, the one which is working the best for myself, and well, it was not developed lately, it's still working for quite some time. We were discussing different approaches, different aspects of this particular strategy for quite a few times. Well, it's still based on the horizontal lines, based on the higher time frames, and switching lower to 1, 3, 10-minute chart to execute based on the price action, right? So what I'm going to show you is going to be the explanation first, and then we are going to switch to the new chart, and we are going to try to make the same based on the new chart, because here some can argue, okay, you've got your lines, maybe you did put your lines based on your strategy just to show us that it's working perfectly fine, but it's not. Of course, if it's a blue line based on the weekly chart, then you have to adjust this line each and every week, right? If it's a green line based on the daily price action, then you have to adjust based on each and every day, right? That's how it works. It cannot be different, right? So what we are talking about is some kind of the failures, right? Or some kind of the winning breakouts, breakdowns. That's what we are talking about here. The very important point is that you have to do your own research, you have to do your own homework, but this one is still working very, very well for myself, right? So we have some lines, right? We have some lines here. Then let me make it much more clear for you at the very beginning. What I'm looking for, I'm usually looking for some kind of the failures. Of course, I should adjust this trend line based on these upper shadows over here, meaning that here we should have buying opportunity. Again, when it comes to the scalping, you are not going to fall in love with your position. You don't wanna get married with your position, right? Few pips here, few pips there, and you done for a day. That's what we are talking about today, right? So basically talking about this upper shadows, few upper shadows, that would be the quite few perfect setups when it comes to long, etc, etc. But once we broke through that level, right, over here, the next day setup, because when it comes to the daily charts, you want to see where we are towards the end of the day, and you are adjusting the strategy for the next day. So that was the if it's 1 hour, that was the early setup, right? And that was the next hour strategy. So let's have a look what we have here. Let's make it like this, all right? And let's switch lower to the 15 or 5-minute chart. Let's have a look if we can, yeah, okay, let's get back to early. Yeah, should be everywhere. Okay, so that was our setup, right? So what we've seen here and probably we would get few trading opportunities over here, right? But basically the best one, of course, talking about this daily line, it should be adjusted, right? And then you are working with what you have, what you see around your day, right? So with the smaller time frame. In that case, basically what we've seen here, it was the entry of the day, we've seen some rally, we've seen some stop hunt, right? And strong pullback. Then 50% of that would be your long entry. Depends on your scalping strategy, right? You would either take some profits or you would be stopped out. Then again, works opposite. Once you were stopped out, if you were stopped out at 50% here, then 50% turn out to be your working supply level. That was your first trade number one, and that was your second trade, and that was your third trade, right? Then when we went lower through that consolidation, the bottom of 50 again is your working level to go short, etc., etc., etc. So with that having in mind, let's have a look based on completely different chart if we can build something similar, right? So that's the cable and that's the weekly chart. So let's have a look what we have here, and let's basically try to work with the weekly chart. Yeah, there you go. Then we have this one, but it's too low. What we have here, well, that could be the swing high here. We have to take into the consideration what we see, where we've seen the turnout, right? Where is the on a daily chart basis? Let's have a look what we have. Switch lower to the daily. Still, we don't want to trade out of the daily. So that was the quite important latest level, right? So we created swing high over here, right? So in that case, retest of that particular level somewhere here. That could be the first supply based on the daily. Okay, so we are going to try to check if there was something to do with this level, right? And then taking into the consideration the gap between the low, close, entry, if there was something here as well. All right, so just pure speculation. And to be honest with you, as you can see, I'm doing this live. Some can argue, yeah, you did your check. Oops, sorry, you did your check well before you record that video. That's based on the daily, so we have to switch to green here, and switch lower. All right, it might be challenge to show you the execution on 1 minute chart because it's quite aggressive approach, but that's the 4-hour chart. That's the 4-hour chart, right? So we might adjust some lines based on what we have on the 4-hour chart, right? That's the thing number one. And we have to move a little bit lower. That's the 4-hour only. In 1 hour and 30, 15, 5, 1 minute. That's what we have to have, right? Let's have a look. Parameters again. Visualization, yeah, that should work well. And then again, because what has happened here on the 4-hour chart, right? We broke through the breakout candle. So that's our zone, the full zone. Oh, sorry, I'm so sorry guys, the full supply zone. And in that case, I want to work with not with the shadows. I want to work with the bodies. There you go. All right. So the same day, there was a possibility that we are going to have some kind of the very, very nice trades, right? And we are going to watch closely what is going on. Of course, we don't want to trade late New York or beginning of the Tokyo, right? So in that case, we have to adjust some lines again based on the early chart. In that case, what we've seen, right? We've seen that with this type of the pullback, over the course of the first Tokyo session, we didn't make lower low. Okay. Sounds well, reasonable, all right? So what I'm gonna do, I'm going to mark this low, and I'm gonna mark this, let's say yellow. Still orange yellow as a trading session. Kaboom! Kaboom! You know what I'm talking about right now, all right? You know what I'm talking about after this breakdown of the low. We've seen two selling opportunities, all right? Let's have a look and check another one, because there is more to come. And if you are not going to get it, I'm so sorry. You have to leave the question. You have to, first you have to like, then you have to subscribe, and then you can leave the question, and I'm going to try to go through, right, and answer your question. This is still, when it comes to the scalping, the most profitable strategy for me. And the swing low, kaboom. You are able to try it off this swing low quite a few times as well. We are talking about the swing, sorry, we are talking about the scalping, right? We are talking about a few pips here and there. So you have to mark your levels of the higher time frame. Then you can do your right strategies. There was more after the breakdown. Kaboom. Plenty of different approaches. First thing first, do your own homework and research. Second thing, like, subscribe, comment, leave the question below. Third, do more than 100 examples before doing the real trades. Then you are good to go. With that being said, guys, wish you great next trading day. It was my pleasure to be with you. See you around, take care, stay safe.